Hello? And welcome back to the SOPRANO podcast. I am your host, and my name's Heidi. And yeah, you're here. You made it. You're listening to the pod. So congrats. And ooh, it's January 2nd, and you know what that means? It means everybody's trying real hard on those New Year's resolutions, girl. Which is like, honestly, I keep going back and forth in my head about New Year's resolutions, and I'm just like, is it worth it? Because, even if you do something good and you can't stick with it, it's okay that you did it for a couple weeks or however long you decided to do it. But then it's also like, why are you even trying? Just try and do something more gradual, and really stick with it. I am so against the whole all or nothing personality type that's very much aggressively I'm gonna do this thing and it's gonna be this and it's gonna be oh my god, and then all of a sudden they lose that. Oh, and right on cue we've got the dogs. It's been literally silent in here for the past 2 hours until now. But yeah, so this all or nothing personality type where people are like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing and it's gonna be amazing, but then that gusto wears off after 2 weeks or less. And you're like, why? Just think about it differently. Don't think about it as now is the starting point for something else. It's you can change things about your life, but you have to be impeccable. Impeccable with your word. And it's so hard because it's you have to be impeccable with your commitment to yourself. And then after that it's pretty much okay, but that whole being true to what you say you're going to do is the bane of all diet culture and working out stuff, and even practicing sometimes. I'm going to do a 100-day practice cycle and it's going to be, warm-ups every single day and it's blah, blah, blah. All 100 of those days don't have to be perfect, but if you're going to do 100 days of something, you better, if you're giving yourself a number, that's super, super quantifiable. You have a number now and you have to fulfill that number. So you don't have to be perfect when you practice, but you have to do that number. So it's when you give yourself those types of parameters, you allow yourself to just kind of do it and get through it every, if you're on a streak or something and you're doing great, but then a couple days in, you're like, oh God, I really don't feel like it. And you just kind of blow through it. Or maybe you go on a vacation and you kind of just half-ass it and, do what you need to do just to get to that number. You know what I mean? Those types of things are fine if you're really concerned about the number or the quantity of something. But I think it's important to think about also the quality of things and not just I want to lose 30 pounds or I want to do 100 days of practice or I want to do this. What do you want to get out of it? Do you really want the number? Is it really all about the number? Or is it about the intangible outcome that you wouldn't be able to have put any labels on? You just have this thing now. And if you think about it like that, instead of being oh yeah, oh, it's going to be really fast, I'm going to lose 3 minutes off my mile and it's going to be amazing. What's the point of that though? Why do you want to lose 3 minutes off your mile? It's those little moments of you can't really explain why. You want those moments of, oh my God, I'm doing great, or I'm proud of myself, or I'm strong, or I'm intelligent, or I'm this. You can't put a number on that. And those types of things should not be just reserved for New Year's resolutions. You know what I mean? It's so incredibly ridiculous to me that people like don't do any of these things throughout the rest of the year except for like the 3 first weeks of January, you know? Because in reality, it's not about the number, you know what I mean? Like, it's about the thing that comes with the number. It's about getting better at your instrument or all of those things that you can't measure. And sometimes those things are directly correlated, like sometimes those things are related. But sometimes they're not, and sometimes people get too fixated on the number, or they get too fixated on, you know, the destination of the whole process, or it's like, I'm doing like a 3-week juice cleanse, and I'm gonna do a water fast in the morning, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but then what after that? Like, what are you gonna do after then? Is it just gonna go back to the way that it was? Are you gonna have some epiphany throughout this whole like terrible process? You know, I don't know. If you're one of these people who does these types of things, you know, don't get offended that I'm talking about it in this way. I totally support people if they want to do whatever the heck you want to do. If you want to do a thing where you feel like, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for however many days, like, go ahead, do it, you know? But, like, also just think about it and be like, what do I really want from this? What am I actually trying to get out of this? Other than just saying that I did this for a certain amount of time, you know? All I'm trying to say is I think there's a level of misunderstanding, maybe, that comes from New Year's resolutions. I don't think they're a bad thing. I really don't. I think that people should just think about them in a more quality over quantity kind of thing, you know? And do write it down, dude. Like, write that crap down, and, you know, do revisit it from time to time and look at it throughout your day or throughout your year, or write it somewhere where you see it all the time to remind yourself. And, like, I don't know. You all know how to make New Year's resolutions, but don't do anything that's going to be detrimental to your health in any way. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so that was a little weird tangent. Also, I have to preface this by saying I do have a glass of wine in my hand, so be prepared. Listen, like I said, if you are new here, I've said this on many podcasts, but if you are new, there are no rules up in here, okay? I'm in charge, and what I say is the law, and there are no rules. So I get to talk about whatever I want. I am a musician. I am a singer. I am a graduate student. Just got my master's in 2020 in voice performance at Stony Brook University, and I am now pursuing a doctorate degree at Stony Brook as well. And I do talk about music sometimes on this podcast, but sometimes I don't. So if you're looking for a music podcast, you're in the right place. If you're not looking for a music podcast, you're in the right place. So, welcome on all fronts. Okay. So, let me take a sip here. Hold on. We love a Shiraz. Okay, so here's what happened today, you guys. It's been a good day. Okay, I'm just going to say it. It's been a good day. And that's not the wine talking. Like, I'm serious. It's been a pretty good day. And it all started with a recording session at church, and I was happy to do it. Although, I wish I was a little bit more prepared for this early session. The pieces that I was working on were relatively easy, so I only practiced them for a very small amount. I should have practiced more. And I felt like I was sight reading, even though I wasn't, you know. That's how I kind of felt this morning. And also, I should have had some kind of caffeine before I went there at 9:30, but that might have helped me. But yeah, also maybe in the future I'll just practice more, you know, duh. But it went fine, you know, no problems whatsoever, nothing to write home about. And The only thing that was kind of an issue was we were running a little late this morning, but guess what? I don't have anything to do, so I was totally cool with it. Like, I don't have anything going on, so yeah, whatever. I'll sit and hang out at the at a church on a Saturday. You know, it's cool. It's fine. So, oh, hey doggies. Oh god. And then so then I came home and oh god, my apartment has been a blessed mess for the past couple of days because oh my god, these dogs are killing it out there. I think they're talking with some neighbor dogs, so we'll just have to endure their conversation. But anyway, so my apartment has been a holy mess for the past couple of days because I very gratefully have received some Christmas gifts. And usually around Christmas time when I get Christmas gifts, because I always ask for practical gifts and things that I either need replaced or that I need in my life and haven't, gotten yet. So usually around New Year's or Christmas, after Christmas, I am in like purge mode and I get rid of the things that I don't need or that have been replaced by these lovely Christmas gifts that I haven't given. And yeah, so I got to get rid of all of my towels and I got to replace all of my towels, all my hand towels and my bath towels, and they're looking amazing. Thanks to my older sister, Jess. We love it. What else? Oh, I got to put some new pillows on my couch, my little futon we got going on here, thanks to my younger sister, Erica. And what else did we do today? I don't know. We got rid of a bunch of clothes because I need to replace a lot of things in my wardrobe. I wear the crap out of the pieces of clothes that I own. And if you know me, you know that I shop secondhand for clothes pretty much exclusively. I never buy things that are new because one, I'm too cheap for that. I don't have enough money for that. And also two, I think that things that have been previously owned have more, I don't know, they're just better. Like, they're more unique, they have character, they're less, like, not important, but I can wear them and enjoy them for the amount of time that you would normally wear an item of clothing, and then I can, donate it back and get something else for like less than $5. You know what I mean? So this cycle of clothes that I have in my closet is one that I highly recommend. Maybe someday I'll talk to you about my relationship with Savers, which is my favorite store of all time. I'm going to say it. Literally the best store ever. Like, if you don't know what Savers is, you need to find out and you need to educate yourself, and you just need to figure it out because you're getting literally gypped with other stores just in general. But anyway, so how did I start talking about? Oh, I was cleaning and I was getting all my stuff, purging some things, and I feel like I made a good dent on my apartment here. And my cleaning technique, I try not to, become too manic about it because I know then that will just kind of insinuate a crash at some point for me, like energy-wise and emotionally. So I do it in like small spurts, right? And I did a little bit before I went to record, and I did a little bit when I came back. And then I was having this weird moment today where I felt like restless and just really, really uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I was feeling annoyed, but also I didn't know what to do because I was already cleaning and I was like taking little breaks, and also I already had like a coffee, and I had lunch, and I wasn't like hungry or anything. I was just like irritated and kind of frustrated. And then all of a sudden I got this thought that popped into my head that was like, I think you should go for a run. I think you should try and just put some shoes on and go for a run. And so then I was like, okay, a little out of character for me, but I'll do it. So I did. And I put some sneakers on, and I put I put my windbreaker on and my leggings, and I put a headband on, and I went for a run. And girl, it went probably as well as you would expect for someone who doesn't run. I couldn't run for more than a minute, and then I would stop and I would just kind of walk around. But it was golden hour. We were loving the sights. We were seeing some dogs on the way. We were looking at the sunset. It was great. It was probably 4:00 when I went. But I just had this feeling, and I was like, you should do this thing. You should try and go for a run. And so I did, and it was good, And there was no pressure. I didn't feel uncomfortable at any time, or oh my God, I can't run. I'm not very good at running, whatever. I'm so upset. I didn't feel like that because I don't run. So obviously I'm not going to be very good at it. I don't do it all the time. But it was good, It's kind of like that one meme that I feel like I talk about memes a lot on this podcast, but it's like that one meme that is kind of it's along the lines of, I'm not going to be good at this immediately. I'm going to try it once and get discouraged immediately afterwards. Okay, not interested, not going to do it. I'm terrible, I hate myself. Immediately being discouraged from doing something. But it wasn't really like that. And I was happy about that, because that mentality of I'm not immediately good at it, so I hate it and I'm not going to keep trying, that has plagued me in the past. And I am acknowledging that fact. It's not easy to just acknowledge that you aren't good at something. It takes a lot of ego, it takes a lot of getting rid of your ego. That's such a weird sentence. You have to get rid of your ego a lot. That still doesn't make sense. Hello. But you know what I mean. You can't be very egotistic and be okay with the fact that you're bad at something. You have to get over it. You got to get over yourself a little bit. So, I don't know. I think that was a victory today, and I was happy about it. And I definitely, I probably only ran less than 6 or 7 minutes, And I was out there for probably a half hour to 45 minutes. I was walking. I would do a couple little spurts. I would be okay, I'm going to run from here until that garbage can, and then I can stop. Okay, I'm just going to run until I see that stop sign. And when I pass that stop sign, that's the finish line and I can stop. But it was good. I just kind of was hanging out and just running, not running, not running, back and forth. And if you're ever feeling at any moment you have this one spark of inspiration to do something, how I have been with this running thing, and also what happened to me at the beginning of this podcast, I literally just had a spark to start doing something. I encourage you to just do it, and see where it goes. And don't try and put a number on it. Don't try and be okay, now that I did this one thing, I'm going to do it 15 more times, and I'm going to do it this, don't try and put a bunch of, parameters on it, because then it becomes too involved, and you stop losing that feeling of, I'm just exploring, I'm being playful with this. I'm just here and I'm hanging out, and that's enough, The fact that you're doing it is enough. You don't have to download an app about it and be okay, great. So now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, I'm going to amp it up every day. Blah, blah, blah. That'll happen naturally. Just chill out. Just show up is what I'm saying. If you have an urge to do something and you feel oh, maybe I should do this one thing, just show up. And whatever happens during your session of that thing, That's good. And don't beat yourself up about it. It's so frustrating. I see so many of my family and friends get frustrated with themselves about not meeting their like number goals and not meeting their things that they wanted to do. It's like you have to come from a place of inspiration and desire to be fulfilled anyway. You know what I mean? So just allow that to be the place of that. Allow that to be your starting line. Don't be like, okay, here I am. Like, yes, set a schedule if that's the kind of person you are. But if you're the kind of person who sets schedules rigorously and then 2 weeks later can't do it and doesn't stick to it after 2 weeks, maybe you aren't the kind of person who sticks to schedules. You know, maybe you're kind of the person who needs to find something else that works for them. And maybe people in general just kind of need to stop having this all or nothing mentality where it's like you're allowed to be uninspired. You're allowed to have breaks of things. You're allowed to go back and forth in your brain about it. And that's okay, you know? So just you know, just be kinder to yourself. Be more understanding to yourself on like every single front. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, got back from my run. I'm really on this today. I don't know why, but I got back from my run and got back in here and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I've got to keep reminding myself to drink water because I'm like, oh, I have a little bit of a headache. And it's like, oh, because you were doing physical activity that you don't normally do, aka running. So I took a sip here, but came back in here and I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep this train a-moving, and I think I want to make some pad thai, which I have never tried to make before, but I bought some rice noodles the other day, and I had a lot of the ingredients that I think goes into pad thai. And here's what I used. Okay, so I cut up an onion, like just like a regular old white onion, and a bunch of cloves of garlic. And I didn't mince them. I kind of cut them a little bit big because I knew I would be like using high heat, so I didn't want to burn them. Threw those in a pan, salt, pepper, oil, and, you know, fried them up. I don't know. Put the rice noodles in like a bunch of hot water and just let those sit for a while. I didn't boil them or anything. And yeah, then I went to town on some scallions. I love scallions. They're like the best. And remind me at some point that I need to tell you about how you can literally have unlimited scallions for the rest of your life. So just remind me about that. So cut up a bunch of scallions, put it in there. And then I also had this this mushroom thing. It was, oh God, it was this really weird looking thing I got from Whole Foods. You know when you're in Whole Foods and you're like, oh, wow, look at this. And you just buy it and you're like the produce section and you're like, oh my God. Like if you see like a dragon fruit or you know, you're looking at a passion fruit or something. That's how I felt with this mushroom. I think it was oyster mushrooms. Pretty sure. But, so I had that. I had no idea how to cook it, but I'm like, well, you probably cut it up and you probably put it in a pan. So that's what I did. And I was going to put some tofu in there and some broccoli, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to let these other two ingredients shine here because why not? You know, I don't need anything else. But I also had some like chili oil, like chili paste powder, not powder. It's like a in a jar. And I put way too much in. But I put a bunch of that, you know, soy sauce, all the stuff, like some peanuts and things, and it honestly came out pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it. But you know, it was good. So I made a bunch of pad thai, killing it. I'm not somebody who likes to follow recipes in general. I will if I'm baking, but not if I'm cooking. Sorry, no. I'm not going to do it. Like, I just want to throw things in a pan and see what happens. I'm too experimental in that way. I don't like following recipes. Like, I'm sorry, what if I don't like the amount of, salt or something that you put on something? Or what if I don't like the amount of, I don't know, anything that you put in something? Like, I feel like I know what all of these ingredients taste like, and I'm gonna put them all in a pan, and that's what it's gonna be, And I hate, oh my God, I hate being watched in a kitchen. Like, if somebody's around me while I'm cooking something, I know in my heart that there's a very large chance, not very large, I'd say it's like a 70% good, 30% chance that it's going to be not so good. Like, there's a pretty good chance that what I'm doing right now is too experimental and it's going to turn out a little bit weird. And I personally acknowledge that, which is why I love cooking for one, because I acknowledge the fact that I might be cooking something weird. But if it happens to be on the 70% side and I happen to, crush it, then it's amazing. So I'm willing to take that risk for the amazing part. You know what I'm saying? But I hate being watched in the kitchen because I just know that those are some judgmental eyes, because I be just sniffing stuff and tasting stuff and being like, yeah, that sounds good, and chucking it in. Pour it in the pot. I love making a soup, love making something where you can just throw things in, because that is my style. So that was what happened with the pad thai, and it came out very well. Thank you very much. I think the only thing I might have changed was maybe using a bigger pan, because it was a little bit crowded at the end because it was just a small pan. But whatever, we can't be perfect. So that was good, and it was excellent, and I'm also enjoying this nice Shiraz, as it is a Saturday night, so yippee-ki-yay. We love a Shiraz. And also one of my I want to say colleague, but he's more of like a mentor, I guess you would say, from church, the accompanist and the music director, his name is Paul. He got me a New Year's Eve gift, and it was a nice bottle of Pinot Grigio. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, Paul, what kind of things do you drink? You always like ask, like, I try to be very, very direct with him. I'm like, what do you drink? Like, what do you like? He's like, I don't really drink. I'm like, okay. Do you like coffee? I know you drink decaf. And he's like, yeah, I drink decaf because I don't really like coffee. I'm like, what about tea? He's like, nah. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have a really great time trying to figure out something to get you as a thank you. But thanks. Awesome. Thanks for the info. But that's just how it is. So love you, Paul, if you're listening. He's definitely not, but if he is, I literally love Paul. He's the light of my life at Calvary. And what else do we got going on today? Oh my God. So one of my friends, Michael Chang, who, if you're listening, hi, Michael. He asked me if I wanted to come to this class tonight. And you know me, okay? If you listen to this podcast at all, you know that I love a good seminar. I love a good lecture, okay? I'm always ready to hear somebody talk about something. That's my jam. I'm all about it. So he sent me this message, and it was like, do you want to come to this seminar on, like, voice changing during puberty and also aging? And I'm like, heck yeah, dude. So I guess I'm not exactly sure. It's a little unclear, but I think it's in Cantonese. So see, the dogs are upset. They don't know if it's in Cantonese either. But I think it's in Cantonese, or I think there's going to be a interpreter or something during the seminar. But honestly, I'm pumped. I think that that's great, and I'm always excited to experience things that I've never experienced before. And if that means me sitting through a presentation that is somewhat in Cantonese and sort of in English, or I don't even know what to expect. I have zero expectations. But I'm ready to do it, I'm ready for the adventure. I'm here for it, And yeah, so that's going to be my evening. And tomorrow we're going to have a special guest, you guys. We're going to have a guest on the pod, and this is going to be a very special guest. I'm very excited for you to encounter this human. Very, very unique person coming on the pod tomorrow afternoon. And you're going to love them. They're 100% the most unique person I've ever met in my entire life. So that's tomorrow. As for today, I think I'm going to finish this glass of wine and get ready for my little presentation that I'm going to be sitting in on. Can't wait to find out some more things about the voice in puberty and aging, and other tidbits that are probably going to be within this presentation. And it's going to be a good night, you guys. I'm probably going to have some more pad thai and just chill out. So yeah, that's the pod today, you all. Very, very uplifting. I feel like the past couple days I've been a little bit down, and that has been 100% true. I'm not trying to deny that. But today I'm feeling okay, and I'm going to acknowledge that some days you feel okay, and I don't have to be sad all the time. But we're just living it day by day. We're taking it as it comes. All right, you people. If you like this podcast, let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, okay? Subscribe to the channel. And obviously there's no pressure, but if you want to see what I'm posting every day, you gotta subscribe, and it'll happen to pop up right on your feed. How nice is that? And yeah, let me know if you are somebody that I know, or you are an acquaintance of mine or a good friend or whatever, and you want to be on this podcast. Hit me up, girl. I'm ready to have guests. And I have had guests in the past, and we've got a bunch lined up for this coming month. So if you want to get on the queue, you want to have a chat, let me know, and we'll get you on the pod. All right, people. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whenever you are watching this, or whenever you're listening to this. And clearly this wine is very good, because we're killing it right now, you guys. Okie dokie. Well, this has been the Paper Soprano podcast, and I am your host, Heidi, and I thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. So, thanks. Love you, mean it. Okay. Bye.